July 31st. This is the first moonflower. It bloomed last night. So the sun's not very hot yet, so it's still kind of curling up. They bloom every night, and then the next day they slowly wither as the sun comes up. They start blooming in the evening as the sun goes down. You see, I was only gone for a week, and look at already the morning glories are taking over the asparagus patch. I'm definitely going to, I got some fence posts and some really strong twine. We'll put the metal fence posts at each end of the asparagus bed and then string the twine in between them. Maybe I'll put some extra fence posts right here in the middle. These are berries on this asparagus plant, I think, so they'll make seedlings. Some people discourage seedlings and others don't. This has always been a problem here between this border here, and all the great big tall lilies fell over. But I'm going to put a log or something here for a border. I've been trying to think of a best way to, a nice border there. It'd be nice also to have something which would hold up the lilies. But we'll work on that next year. And walnut, some squirrel has carried up here, left laying on the air conditioner. That's how that walnut tree back there behind me got planted anyway. Damn squirrel carried it in from somewhere. These here are called resurrection lilies. And here's one that's just coming up. Another one, this one here, you can see it starting to bloom. And here's some more back in here. I moved them all around the place over the years. They just send up strap-like growth early in the spring, and you can't tell them from the daffodils. I've putting a lot of them over here, but they don't seem to compete too well with all the other stuff I got over here, the hostas and everything, because I had put a bunch of them all through there. But yeah, it's probably a hard time growing under the hostas. Here's some more of those resurrection lilies. As long as I think that plants, the better conditions they're in, the sooner they bloom. So these are kind of ahead of the other ones. There's some more back in there. Right in there. Here's another one coming up, and here's another one coming up. Yeah, you can see if you look down at the ground, there's no growth at the ground. So the strap-like growth at the top dies back, and then just out of the ground, they shoot up this flower, which is kind of why it's called a resurrection lily. And you can see here there's nothing down there at the ground around it. It just comes up. Here's some that I put out here that are doing just fine. This hibiscus that I got from farmers, I think that's it. I think those are 3 of them there coming up. It's out of the 5 that they sent that I planted all in that area. I guess 3 out of 5 isn't bad for them, considering hardly any of the strawberries they sent me are alive. Well, here you can see the Japanese beetles on my rose here. I'm going to spray it when we get done here. There's a daisy way down in there. Look at that. Here's the leaves of the daisy right here. I hate it in catalogs and things. when you look up a plant to see what it is, all they show you is the flower. So they never show you what the plant itself looks like, just the flower. And these are my tiger lilies. I need to come out here and cut off the tops so they don't try to make seeds. Instead, they make more bulbs in the ground. And I finally took out this bird feeder here because it's just too much trouble pulling up all the bird seed that germinates around it. Look at this phlox I just planted this year. It's doing really good. And this penstemon is blooming. There are so many different varieties of penstemon. I've got one that comes up early in the spring, and then here's a wild phlox I dug up in somebody else's garden. Seems like the penstemon, one of them, it comes up early in the spring, and then by the time everything else starts growing, it's done, and the foliage just dies back. And that one there, here it is towards the fall, and it's blooming. This here, these are called perennial or hardy gladiolas. I'm not sure where I got those. I think it was in an assortment of plants from Brex. I love buying those assortments of plants. Here, this hibiscus out here is starting to bloom. Look at this. And here you can see the bloom right there. That's starting to open. All these other ones, here's another one starting to open down in there. All these other ones that are starting to bloom. Here's some more of those hardy gladiolas. Here's this that I can never remember the name, and I always have to go look it up. But it was also in one of those assortments of seeds I got from Brex several years ago. Same with the gladiola's been there for several years now. I think it's one of the best parts of gardening. I love all these daylilies. One of the best parts of gardening is when things come up and you have no idea that it's there, so it's just kind of like a surprise. And the best way to get that is to keep gardening and planting things in the same place year after year. Those look like they're kind of wilting or something. These are those primroses I planted. The first year they kind of grow out along the ground and reproduce. Then the second year they grow tall and bloom like really pretty yellow flowers all over the place. They multiply so fast that some people consider them a weed, but that's just the kind I like. Ones that really grow really good like that. I'm just pulling up Creeping Jenny here while we're talking. And here's some of that red yarrow I planted over here. I think I've seen it called Cerise Queen or something. There's a yellow and a red yarrow. Here's some more of this ajugula. I think it's called chocolate gold. This is growing all over the place in here. What's this? This looks like Jacob's Ladder, only not variegated. Huh. Here's some more of this. I forget what they called it. I thought it was dichondra. They call it Goldilocks Creeping Jenny. This is oak leaf hydrangea. Well, I got gone. It got covered with Japanese beetles. Look at how they've eaten up this leaf. That's what they'll do. And I'll just move around to the whole garden. So when we get done here, I'm going to spray this too, along with that rose over there. I never can remember the name of these. Summer Sweet. I got those. It was a bush some years back from, I don't know, because it's supposed to be attractive to hummingbirds. I even originally planted it around the side of the house, and then I later on moved it up here. Didn't seem to mind the move. These petunias and marigolds and veronica are doing so much better up here since I cut down that hosta. And this hibiscus is blooming like crazy. These are those poppies that their cycle is they grow up early in the spring and bloom all over the place. Then they just die back to the ground. And then later on in July, they start sending up leaves for next year. And here's some more of those resurrection. There's one way back in there. I was digging in here to plant this blue spruce sedum, and really didn't even disturb those. So they're just growing up out of the ground. Just a flower stalk comes up. A few of them there. Here's some right here. This one's almost completely blooming. Sometimes in some catalogs you might see them listed as magic lilies. I've had them here for more years than I can count, and I've moved them all over the place, all from just one bulb that I bought somewhere years and years ago. This is my snake plant. I need to repot it. It looks like it's done blooming. I should repot it and cut off all of this dead growth, which I don't know what caused it. Maybe it's in too much sun. I didn't think a snake plant could get in too much sun. And here's this latris. It's blooming pretty good, looking pretty nice. Well, I'm going to go spray my roses and hydrangea for the Japanese beetles. And I'll talk to you next time. And happy gardening. Good luck with your garden.